Duel of the Peak Season 2. Hello everyone who's already joined in. If you don't know me, my name is Griffin, part of the Command Valley crew. Just released the trailer for Duel of the Peak Season 2. Ooh, there we go. We just released the trailer for Duel of the Peak Season 2. So we're using this as a platform to answer any of your questions, to respond to questions that you guys have to kind of clear up the season. So I'll go through it again just to describe what the season is and how we got to that point, and feel free to ask any questions during this live stream. So first off, what is Duel of the Peak Season 2? If you haven't seen the trailer already, Duel of the Peak Season 2 is going to be a gameplay series that is set with only cards from 2021. So the first game will only include cards from the first set that's been released, which is Kaldheim, which will be coming out very shortly. The reason why we're doing this is to make Commander a little bit less, what's the word I'm looking for? Linear, maybe. The decks seem to all, I mean, you guys have seen so many decks, you guys probably watch gameplay videos a lot, and you see these repetitive decks and repetitive styles. So we're trying to come up with something a little bit new, something that's different than you'd normally watch, and something that's very progressive as it goes throughout the year. So with the first set being released at Kaldheim, we're only going to include cards from 2021 that come in a draftable booster box. So Time Spiral count, it's not just standard, it's going to be anything in a draftable booster box. So that's going to include Time Spiral, that's going to include Modern Horizons, that's going to include any booster box set, like say if there's a Battle Bond that comes out later this year, or something like that, any ancillary product like that will be included. But we're not going to include things like Secret Layers or part of like the list, or from like the Commander decks either, just because normally the cards that come in those products tend to be out on a lot higher power level. I mean, you've got Soul Rings and Command Spheres and big splashy spells. We want to keep it to the draftable booster box to kind of make it a lot more enjoyable, and instead of, you know, I mean, you kind of saw in this gameplay, or this gameplay coming up, there's some cards from Kaldheim that everybody slotted into their deck, but that's going to change over the course of the year as more cards come out and different decks come out. But when you have like things like Soul Ring, which is just going to go into everyone, we think that's going to be a little bit less different and unique. So, and then the third thing about Duel of Peak Season 2 is that you cannot change your commander unless a new product releases. So for instance, Kaldheim, we all chose one from Kaldheim. There are going to be 2 gameplays that come out from Kaldheim, and then when the next set releases, which will be Time Spiral, we will have the option to be able to change commanders. So if there's any commanders that we want to switch to in Time Spiral, then we can switch to that commander. But then you're set into that commander until the next set releases. But between games, you can switch out all the cards in the 99 as much as you want. So that's the basis of Duel of the Peaks Season 2. Trying to think if there's anything else that we need to go over. We're really excited for this. We came up with this idea probably tier end of Season 1. And we're really excited to see how this goes, because at the beginning of the year we're all going to have very similar decks. A lot of the cards are going to be from Kaldheim, they're going to be very similar, but over the course of the year the decks will progress and become their own unique commander decks, and I'll bet you that they won't look very similar at all. So hello everybody joining in. If you haven't already watched the Duel of the Peak Season 2 trailer, I invite you to go to our YouTube channel and watch the Duel of the Peak Season 2 trailer that has just been released. But we're very excited for this next season. We hope to continue with Duel of the Peaks, which is our gameplay series, and we're hopefully, if you guys have been wondering, we're also going to be doing gameplays that are not centered around just 2021. So we're going to have our regular gameplay series, our Patreon decided gameplay series, just like our Aristocrats gameplay series that just came out a couple of weeks ago, I believe. And then we're also going to have some special other ones, themes, yeah, and other ones that are going to come out. We have a very exciting Commander gameplay thing that is going to come out probably in the next month, and I'm very, very excited for that. I can't give away too many details about it, but it's going to be very, very exciting, and I don't think that you guys have seen something like it before. But that's the whole goal of this, is to, there we go. That's the whole goal of this, is to create content that you guys might not have seen before. One question that you guys might have been thinking of, and feel free, if you're listening or watching live, feel free to ask questions in the chat. Feel free to say hello. I've seen a couple of people say hello already, so hello to all of you. But if you have any questions, post them into the chat box, and I will answer any questions that you have. Anything on your curious minds. Going back to Duel of the Peak Season 1, something that we found is the pointed system, which we really liked at first, seemed to kind of end up being harsh, being pretty harsh. For instance, we would have games where I was up by, 10, 15 points, or Peter was up 10, 15 points, and then the gameplay would be very repetitive for the next few games, where everybody would target that person who was ahead. And it didn't allow the decks to show off what they were supposed to do. It made a lot of feel bads go around the table when it was all three people ganging up like a arch enemy on one person, just because of the pointed system, which made for some not fun times, especially to create content that you guys like to view. So we're gonna scrap the pointage system for this season, and instead we're gonna go more of a win-by-win basis. But we're still declaring Peter as the winner of Season 1 of Duel of the Peaks, and he will have a special playmat dedicated just to him as the winner, that he will have throughout the whole season for Season 2. So yeah, we did like the points, but we found that it made for some unfun decisions and maybe some unfun content for you guys to enjoy. So we decided to update it and change it into something else. But I see there's more people joining in for the live chat. So hello, all of you goats. If you have any questions about what we're talking about, which is the Duel of the Peak Season 2 trailer, then feel free to post them into the comment box, and I'll be happy to read them, or just say hi. So hello to all of you. Another thing that I wanted to answer is the Patreon gameplays, which we have just started doing, is something that you guys can all participate in. So I invite you to go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/CommandValley and join the tier to get onto our Discord and be able to participate in those Patreon decided gameplays. And we have some plenty of fun ideas with that. All right, so let's see. I saw a comment, but now I can't see it. I think it was something about shout out to Fox's boy Jeff. Shout out to Jeff. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hello, Pierre. I'm so glad that you're liking the idea. We're really very excited for this, and we hope that you guys are very excited for it too. It's something that the inspiration actually came from the booster box game. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the booster box, or booster boxing, I guess it's called, but it was going around Twitter for a while, and the idea was that you would grab a box of any, I think it might have been standard, or it might have been just a draftable booster box, and you'd grab a booster box, and you can make a commander deck out of that box, and then you would fight against other people. So we thought, we had this idea that, like, maybe we can take that, but what if we made it be progressive and allowed it to continue throughout the year? So instead of just booster boxing with one standard box, everybody would be able to participate in the same box, and then continue towards the end of the year with all of the products that would come out that year that come in a draftable booster box. I don't know why it won't let me see the chat. I press this button. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right, Ocking asked, will there be gameplay videos released on the channel featuring patrons? That is an excellent question. It's actually one of the things that we're thinking about in the works. We're trying to see how it will play out. We're thinking that we can use Discord to be able to record games, because that's what we've been using for the past couple of gameplays on our channel, has been Discord. So it's very possible that upcoming we will be adding a feature to our patrons, allowing you to be able to participate in gameplays that is already on the channel, but also a ability to be featured on the channel. So we're working that part out. We're still discussing and seeing how that's gonna work. We want to make sure that the content that we're giving to you guys is, you know, up to standards. So we'll see how we can make that work and keep you guys updated. So yes, it's definitely in the works. I don't have any new news for that yet. That's definitely on our minds, and we'll be working on that. Hello everybody who's just joining. Again, if you haven't already watched Duel of the Peaks Season 2 trailer, then feel free to go on over to youtube.com/Command Valley and look at our Duel of the Peaks Season 2 trailer, which we are very, very excited for. And if you're already joining, feel free. This is a Q&A session, so feel free to say hi in the chat. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have. As you can tell, it's freezing here, but I'm in my warm car. But yes, so hello everybody, and I'm trying to think of other things I can tell you guys about Duel of the Peaks Season 2, maybe some insider information for all of you who have joined. Let's see. I can't give away anything about the first game yet, but it is coming out next week. So the next gameplay or first episode of Duel of the Peaks Season 2 will be coming out next week. I believe it's the 26th is what we announced. Look at me not knowing our own release dates. It might be the 26th, don't quote me on that. But it was a very fun game. Again, this game is only going to be cards from Kaldheim. So we all built a 100-card commander deck featuring only cards from Kaldheim. And honestly, you might think, oh, everybody's playing from the same cards in Kaldheim. Might that look a little bit like rigid or people playing the same cards? But I'm telling you, man, this game was highly entertaining, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it. It wasn't at all what I even envisioned it being like, because for me, the first game I thought, oh, maybe it's going to be a little bit like everybody's playing the same cards and people are going to be doing the same things. The only thing I will say is there was a lot of foretelling. There was a ton of foretelling, but that was the only thing that all of our decks repetitively did the same of. Everybody did their own thing, so I promise that it will be entertaining gameplay, even though everybody's using only cards from Kaldheim. But yes, if you guys have any questions, or if you just want to say hi, feel free to comment them in the comment box, or the comment section, I suppose. Odd King asks, with the new format with just using new cards, was it difficult to build an interesting and fun deck? That is a really good question. So since we're only using cards from Kaldheim first, the playing field, or the selection of cards was very small. So I will say for my deck, and I am playing 2 colors, my cuts were basically all the cards that were included in that color and then take out a couple of them. So the first deck, I will say, was not as hard to build, for me at least, because it really just included you know, shoving all the cards that fit into that color into the deck. But I know for Caleb and Peter, who, I won't spoil anything, but are playing other decks that include more than 2 colors, then they might have had more selection, I suppose. So yes, it was a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Very easy to build that deck. And I think for all of us, it was very easy to build the decks. I think Caleb might have had the hardest time, and you'll see why. But yeah, definitely for me, I suppose I could probably spoil what I'm playing. I suppose that's probably okay. All right, I'll give you guys a guess. If you would like, please comment in the comment box what commander you think that I chose for Duel of the Peaks Season 2, Episode 1. And if somebody gets it right, then I'll note it and I'll tell all you guys, but I'm not going to make it so easy for you. All right, Gaddy Walls, when are they coming out with a commander deck for the new set? Okay, so this is more of a WotC related question, and I can tell you what I do know. The next set that's going to be released that has commander decks is going to be Strixhaven, and they just announced this very recently. So you can head on over to Wizards, and there's an article Peter, if you're watching, if you could link the article for Gabby. The idea is that there's going to be 5 commander decks that are more along the realms of Ikoria, that will be centered around the 5 houses of Strixhaven. So those are going to be the next commander decks that are coming out. Ooh, we got to change this so that I don't run out of battery. How's that? What am I at? There we go. But it's freezing on me. Here, let's try this. Oh, it's locked? Well, that's ridiculous. All right, let's end perfect, and we're back. But I don't know if it's being kind of laggy. I suppose it is, but that's probably just my phone. I'm just doing this out. It's not a parking lot. We're at a In-N-Out parking lot. So, all right, let's see. I'm gonna manage this. Make sure I have all the questions. Oh, hey, Matt. Welcome to the Q&A stream. No, cancel. What am I trying to do? Oh, I'm trying to do that. Okay, very good. All right. I'll just hold it like this, since my charger can't reach. Oh, well. All right. Welcome, everybody who's watching to the Q&A for Duel of the Peak Season 2. I'm out here stranded in my car, answering questions about Duel of the Peaks. Open the window because it's kind of getting stuff in here. A little laggy, but we can hear you just fine. Okay, fantastic. It's probably because I'm not at my house. I probably should have done this at my house when I had Wi-Fi. That's okay. But yes, feel free to comment any questions in the comment section below. Pierre, my commander was not a god, actually. Good question. But yes, feel free to comment any questions about Duel of the Peaks that I could answer, and then you clear things up. If you haven't already seen the trailer for Duel of the Peaks Season 2, then feel free to go on over to our YouTube channel and watch Duel of the Peaks Season 2 trailer. And the first episode will be releasing next week. So we're super excited for that. But yes, if you want to either ask any questions about Duel of Peaks Season 2, or ask any questions or guesses about what deck I will be playing on Duel of the Peaks Season 2, then feel free to do so. But if not, just feel free to hang out. We'll be asking and answering questions for about, probably about 5-10 more minutes, as long as my phone can handle it. And then, yeah, we will be set. So, thanks you guys so much for being here and supporting the channel. We very much appreciate it, and we appreciate everybody who supports us and liked our first season of Duel of the Peaks, which is the Command Valley gameplay series. So we're very much looking forward to making a new season for you guys. We're very, very excited for this. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I have an idea. This will make it easier for my life and for yours. All right, friends, I'm gonna put you down for just a second. Have fun staring at my ceiling. All right, there we go. Caleb asked, hi Caleb, asked, what about theme boosters? So theme boosters are one of the things that I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb, but are theme boosters just the boosters that comes out with sets that have a theme to it, and sometimes they include cards that are not within the set. So just as for instance with Kaldheim, we had the theme boosters that included like the Valkyrie that gains life. Is that what we're thinking of? Let's see. For all of those who are wondering, my charger does not reach all the way to my phone, and being live takes a lot of batteries. But yes, theme and set boosters are also included in Duel of the Peaks. All apart from the list, but theme boosters and set boosters are definitely going to be included. on the list. All right, so let's see. Ragdoor Ultron, will you have access to the cards in 2 commander decks that come out within each set? And that is a great question. We talked about that a little bit during the beginning. So we're not going to be including cards that come out in the commander decks. And the reason why is only because in commander decks, they tend to put a lot of staples into it. And what we want to avoid with Duel of the Peak Season 2 is to have very linear, very similar decks and cards. So for instance, with the commander decks that come out, usually a Soul Ring will come out, or a Commander Sphere will come out, or things that are very, very common in commander decks, and we really want to avoid that. So you can look forward to us doing content about the commander decks themselves. But as far as Duel of the Peak Season 2 goes, we're not going to be including cards from the commander decks in our decks, and I hope that clears that up. Another question from Pierre. Also, I want to ask if you think about playing with Time Spiral Remastered Modern 2 Horizons when the release. If you think about... Yeah, if I'm answering your question right, which I think is if we're going to be playing with Time Spiral and Modern Horizons, the answer is yes. All the products that come in a draftable booster box, including Time Spiral and Modern Horizons 2, will be included in our limited pool, you could say. So no to the commander decks, because we will be releasing content specifically about those, but yes to Time Spiral and Modern Horizons 2. So it's not just standard, it's just anything that comes out that is in a draftable booster box. Things like Battle Bond, if there's a Battle Bond, Commander Legends, if, you know, by some miracle they do a Commander Legends 2 this year. Yeah, well, Matt, you're absolutely right. Of course I played Azorius. Honestly, Matt, I think you already know who I was playing. I might have said it. Yeah, I think I did tell you. That's funny. But yes, the answer to the deck that I'll be playing on Duel of the Peaks is Azorius. So good luck figuring out who that is. But let's see, any other questions about our Duel of the Peaks Season 2? Yes, you have already lost to it before, but it's not the same deck. I did build 2 decks. One of them I built that just had the entire history of Magic in it, and then the other one was for Duel of the Peaks specifically, so only cards from Kaldheim. But I did build 2 different decks because I really did like this commander a lot. I will give another hint. It is on the channel already. The deck that I built for myself is on the channel. So it's not the deck that I'm playing on Duel of the Peaks because, again, Duel of the Peaks is only the limited cards from Kaldheim. But I did build a deck for it that included cards from Magic's history. But yes, I'm trying to think if there's any other things that I can tell you about Duel of the Peaks Season 2. Again, we are super excited for this season, and we thank you guys so much for supporting us during Season 1. Peter was victorious, battling out just barely over me to claim victory for Season 1. So he will be carrying a very special playmat made for him, the victor of Season 1, that he will be having during all of Season 2. And then the victor of Season 2 will be able to take that playmat. So that's how we're going to be marking who's the victor, and they get to brag about it during the next season. But yes, we're going to be on for a couple more minutes. If you have any questions, any comments, anything, guys, and feel free to ask it in the comment section. I will be reading them, and I'm super excited to answer your questions. But yes, it is very exciting, and yes, the playmat is extremely dope. How are you going to determine the victor in the new season if there aren't any point challenges? That is an excellent question, and it's going to be based on wins. So we're only going to do wins here instead of point challenges. The reason why is because the point challenges, number one, they made for a massive disparity between players. As you can tell, at one point, either Peter or I, or maybe both, were 20 points over Caleb and Landon. Which made for, number one, if they were playing, they didn't feel like they could get ahead, and number two, that made it so that whoever was ahead had such a hard target on their backs, and it wasn't only for one game, it was for multiple games. So what we're going to do is we're only going to do it based on wins. So what we're hoping is that the wins will kind of level it out over the course of the game, so nobody's falling behind by 20 points. Instead, it will just be 1 point at a time, and there are 12 games over the course of the year, or maybe more depending on how many products get released. You know, Wizard sometimes releases like 2 products within a month, like 2 big products within a month. That might change things, but as far as it goes right now, 12 episodes is what we're looking at. 1 win per game that you win, I suppose. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most wins will get the next playmat. Caleb says, it made me personally not care what happened to me, and all I want to do is mess with the highest point holder. Yep, that's kind of what we ran into. I know for me, there was the reason why I like playing Commander, and the reason why I love doing this for you guys is I love showing you the decks that I can build and maybe inspire you guys to build those decks and have fun with those decks. And there were times where I built a deck that I was very excited to play, and it was immediately swamped out. And the reason why is because I was just ahead for multiple games, so people were targeting me and my stuff, and you can see it. That also happens to Peter, and you can see kind of that disparity that happens over the course of a couple games. So we're editing it a little bit. It's still going to be a season. There's still going to be like a victor, but we're not going to make it as crazy as it was for season 1. Ragnar, I will not be playing Carter, the Doom Scourge. That was actually one of the 2 that I was deciding between. Actually, one of the 3. And I will tell you the 2 others that I decided against. There were 3 of them. One of them was Carter. One of them was Coma. And the third one was a different one. But yes, so I did not play Carter, although Carter is very, very fun, and I had a lot of fun playing that on the Aristocrats gameplay that you guys can check out over on our channel. But the comment section does tell the truth. I will be playing Azorius, the Azorius commander from Caltime. And since we're about to finish this stream, so if you have any other questions, tuning in late, Kyle says, are you still basing some games off of set releases? Yes. So Duel of the Peaks specifically, this season 2 will have a timeline that looks like 2 games set off of each set. And this since we're just beginning the season this month, the game kind of came out later because we wanted to get all the cards, but we're hoping to get it out sooner based on the set releases so we can, you know, max hype for that set. But based on those sets, we are going to be releasing the Duel of the Peaks gameplays, and we're also going to be able to release other gameplays that are not Duel of the Peaks specifically, also on the side. So we're still going to be doing gameplays that are outside of Duel of the Peaks, that will include, you know, cards from Magic's history, just like we've always been doing. But like themed or all around one strategy, things like that, kind of like our Aristocrats game, which was an absolute mess, and I invite you guys to watch that because that was a crazy game. But yes, please, since we're going to be finishing in a couple minutes, please ask all the questions that you need to in the comment section if you're curious about anything. But before we finish, I want to announce the commander that I will be playing on Duel of the Peaks, which will be Vega the Watcher. So Vega the Watcher is the 3-mana Azorius 2/2 that flies. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. So of course that is just an engine on its own, so I couldn't resist but playing Azorius. The big owl, or as Peter and I like to say, Vega. All right, friends. Yes, Vega the Watcher. If you need to watch, if you guys want to see the deck tech for Vega the Watcher on our channel, we'll link it in the comment section. Basically, it's just a deck that focuses around every way in Magic's history that you can cast spells from outside your hand. So it's a very fun deck, and if you like playing Azorius and you like casting spells outside, and we should be back. Maybe. We might be back. This is what I get for doing all this from my phone. Let's see. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're probably okay now. But that's probably a good place to end the stream here. So thank you everybody who's joined into the live stream. Thank you for all of your questions. We really appreciate all of your guys' support, and we're very excited for Duel of the Peak Season 2, and hope you guys enjoy the ride with us. So again, if you enjoy our content, feel free to like and subscribe, and check out all of our other content, including our gameplay series and our deck techs. And if you want the best way to support the channel, then feel free to head on over to patreon.com/CommandValley, where you can join in for some awesome cool perks and some exclusive benefits. But thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next gameplay series. Ciao, my goats.